Mobil 1, 12 hours of Sebring tomorrow. It's time to go for our second race of the weekend for Porsche Carrera Cup America, and it's live. Beautiful evening here at Sebring International Raceway. A Carrera white safety car is ready to take the 32 car field, actually it'd be 31 car field, out and roll it around the 3.75 miles of this historic Sebring tarmac, concrete and a bit of everything in between. Good evening everybody. In the Global Broadcast Centre, I'm John Hindhaugh. Peter Mackay is alongside me, the man who has forgotten more about Porsches than most people will ever know. We're right in the middle of Florida. 17 corners, and the names of these corners, because they are named, tell the story. Gurney, Fangio, Collier, Bishop, Le Mans and Ullman straight away, of course. Action areas right round the circuit. The insanely committed turn 1 across the bumps, then braking into turn 7 at the hairpin in front of the hotel. The rhythm section, and I'm not talking about some brass and double bass and someone on a drum, 10, 11 and 12, and then of course into the sunset at turn 17. Second of 2 races this weekend. Let's remind you what happened yesterday in an action-packed first race. Riley Dickinson in the Racing for Children, number 91 from pole position, from the race crew pole position, got a good start. The action was behind him. Little bit of contact as Oriyama was spun around. That was a really easy decision for the guys to make. He had Scott Blind winning in arm.
Into the evening race, he was bettered by Gus Burton, so yeah, the order can change when the conditions are different.
Sad to say that Madeline Stewart won't be starting. He missed the race yesterday, had an incident in one of the earlier sessions that actually damaged the chassis on the car, and the guys, I'm afraid, couldn't make the required repairs to that here at the circuit, so no number 82. Brady Behrman, Todd Parriott from the back of the grid, Kyle Washington, Jaden Lander, Peter Atwater, Michael Oriyama, Patrick Mulcahy. He came through very strongly at the end yesterday. Richard Edge, Rob Walker in 23rd position, is second in the Masters. James Sofranis, Michael McCann, Marco Cironi, and then our pole sitter, race brew pole sitter in the Masters for Scott Blind. And then the pro runners, Wesley Stim, JP Martinez, a Pro-Am second place. Alan Metney, creditable 16th and Pro-Am pole sitter. And then the top 15 all-pro drivers, John Schudman, Sebring, Ashley Freiberg, Yves Poltas, Jared Thomas, Paul Bacchus, Tyler Maxon, Grant Tolke, Michael Di Casada, and then the top 6, Matthias Leist, the outside of row 3, Zach Vanier, Jimmy Lieber, Aaron Johnson, and Ryan Yardley, with Riley Dickinson on pole position. Kelly Moss, Top Racing, Kelly Moss, ACI, JDX, Nola Sport, Allegra, ACI Top, JDX for the top 10. All the big teams are there. 9.9, that's a 992.1 at the front of the field in that lovely Carrera white. Looks like I might have the option carbon roof on that car as well. The safety car's lights are out, deploying the rear spoiler just to get a little bit more air through the intakes on the back. Probably running that in Sport Plus, actually. Pops up when you do that. So Ryan Yardley already trying to intimidate the pole sitter. The race brew pole sitter on the left-hand side as they come to the green flag. Waiting for Riley Dickinson to go. 40 minutes on the clock. Time certain race. Brilliant in the evening light. Green flag in the air. We're racing for round 2 of Porsche Carrera Cup North America. Brilliant getaway by Riley Dickinson. He jumps out to a lead. He won't even need to defend into turn 1. All the action's going to be behind him. Ryan Yardley comes through in second, slightly wider. Try and do the cutback down the inside, but Riley is wise to that in the Racing for Children's white and green Kelly Muscar, but it's side by side behind him with Jimmy Ibra in the red and white car, trying to go around the outside, and there's contact. Libra's right there in the red and black car, should I say, and coming through. That looked like the number 11. And
oh no, Johnson's in third.
Yeah, Johnson's gone right through into third. I also saw Michael de Quesada coming up. Quesada started in 7th. He's up to 4th position now. He's had a great run in the number 11, another black and red car. It looked like there was a locking of cars together coming through turn 5. I didn't really understand what had happened there, but they both ended up losing positions. Pro-Am Alametti just holding on to the lead there. So a pretty... Oh, and a huge mistake! And this is going to be 1, 2, 3 cars.
Sabra Cook involved, but she's driven away.
Sabra Cook has got through there. Also in is the
Grant Talke.
Michael McCann as well in the number 8. 37 rather gets away. That's Sabra Cook. Ashley Freiberg was around there. Now, was that the other car that was involved? This is at Cunningham Corner, turn 10. No, Jean Chadouin. Jean Chadouin. And it looked like one of the cars put a left rear Yokohama onto the dirt. And at that point, it was, I'm afraid, like a game of dominoes.
Oh, the thing is, when you've got 32 cars so closely packed together, it's so easy for an incident like that to happen, and quite a lot of damage to Jean Chadouin's number 39
I've just heard him turn
car.
The engine off.
Yeah.
It was still ticking over. Now, let's see if we can unpack this, Peter. Heavy braking area. It's good, clean racing. Watch out for the... Oh, there was a push. I think there was there.
I think Sabra Cook came in to take the racing line on the left-hand side of the road, and then Michael McCann got into the back. Just break that a little bit later. That is a really unfortunate thing. Really unfortunate.
Who was the grey and green car going very, very slowly on the inside? Because that was what pushed everybody over to the left-hand side of the track. We might have to take one more look at that and try and work out who it was.
Hard to say. I think for Jean
I think it was Grant Talke. I think it was Grant Talke, because he's come into the pits as well. Yes,
it is.
He had a right front puncture. And is that the Talke car?
Yes.
Yes, it is, the 16.
I thought I saw Grant Talke in there. Yeah.
He was going very slowly on the right of the track, so he must have picked up that puncture. He would have been one of the people involved in that turn 5 then, maybe, hooking a wheel with someone else. Chadouin has not got that car away.
Chadouin was really unlucky because he was in front and he got collected and had he was probably the least responsible for that incident and came away the worst. Sabra Cook took her normal line, came to take the racing line on the left-hand side of the road for the right-hand corner, and McCann just braked that. I mean, half a metre later, clipped, and then it was just a domino effect. So 3 torn-up race cars early on here, and this is interesting at the front because Vanier, once again, he's really good on those rolling starts. Yeah, he started in 5th and got straight up into 3rd place.
This is the number 9 JDX racing car. It's quite a distinctive car with the livery that's got on.
Don's Pizza.
Yeah, well, you can't go past that, can you? Let's just have one more try unpacking all of this. The end of the incident. Yeah, Talke's already going slowly, and that's packing people up behind. And I think Sabra Cook was trying to avoid that and then got hit from behind by McCann, which pushed her onto the dirt, up into the air. Chadouin is absolutely an innocent bystander.
Chadouin's an innocent bystander for sure. I think Sabra Cook took a normal racing line. McCann was on the gravel. McCann got on the gravel, and as he hit the brakes, he didn't have the normal grip that he would do on the tarmac, and then got into the back of Sabra Cook and turned her into the projectile, Ah, that's a lot of damage. Sebring works very, very hard at racing, as all these drivers do, and when you've got a lot of damage on the car, it eats into budget, and that's not what we want to see at all. And a big clear-up job to do here.
Yeah, and that car's not going to drive back from Jean Jadouin. We've got Steps towing truck. They've got them at turn 5, 6, 7, 8.
Huge
Some of you
team.
will understand that.
Huge team. Very good. I like that. Yes, that took me a minute, but huge team of AMR safety crew here. The vehicles, the Porsche Cayennes for the AMR safety crew, they have been the safety crew cars since the Cayenne came out in 2003. Yeah. The Mobile One 12 Hours of Steering in 2003 was the first time they were the safety vehicle.
Not the same cars, they've been updated, and that is the latest model.
Yes, they get the latest
of
model.
them. The Cayenne S has gone back to the V8 engine and sounds fantastic. Sabre just talking to her team. Very, very unfortunate for her and JDX. Let's go back to the start, Peter, because I think what happened at turn 10 actually had its roots even earlier than that. It was Riley Dickinson is on the driver's left, right of picture if you're watching our feed around the world, and he got an absolutely stunning start. Very slow, he's not slowing down, he's waiting for the green flag, then he pushes the right-hand pedal and jumps a couple of car lengths away. That's great. Watch for Zach Vanier in the JDX racing car, because he gets an absolutely brilliant start. It's a single number car, easy to watch. Zachary Vanier, so 1, 2, 3, 4 across the track. Now, what's going on behind? Vanier's already through, and the side-by-side contact, number 2 in there, definitely had some contact. That was Jimmy Libre.
I think it was with Johnson in the 24.
So where did Grant Tolke pick up his puncture? That's the question. I'll tell you who's done pretty well out of that. A couple of people. Ashley Freiberg is up to 10th position. The 2 Pro-Am runners, JP Martinez is now ahead of Marco Cironi, and Alan Metney, who held the Pro-Am pole position, the Restart pole position, is down to 3rd. They're sitting 12th, 13th and 14th. Scott Blinders right behind them, still leading the Masters class. From in 2nd in the Masters class, Richard H, and Rob Walker in 3rd position.
At the front of the field, I think this gives an opportunity, this full course yellow gives an opportunity to Ryan Yardley, because the rhythm of the race yesterday was very much that Dickinson and Yardley were very close on pace until about half race distance, and then once the tyre grip went away, Dickinson pulled away. Now that we're under full course yellow and have been for 10 minutes or so, and will be for a little bit longer, it's going to be, tyre management is going to be less important.
That's a very good point. Richard Edge and Rob Water came together in the Masters category, numbers 18, ACI and JTR Motorsports 53. That's been looked at. Of course, the Michael McCann, Sebring Cook and Jean Jadouin incident is also under review. I do think a contributing factor to all of that was Grant Tolke moving slowly on the right-hand side of the track, because it was quite clear to me that Sabre was going down that part of the track and had to jink back into the middle and modify her line. And at that point, Michael McCann, she moved into a space that Michael McCann thought was going to be his. He would not have been able to see Grant Tolke because there was 2 Porsches between him and the right-hand side of the track.
Michael de Quesada has profited a lot as well. Yeah, he's been quick all weekend.
Oh, he has.
Profited 3 spots from 7th up to 4th in that little melee. So the drivers try to keep their Yokohama Advan A005 tyres in at the best operating window they can, working it back and forward behind the 911 Carrera GTS pace car. Wonder if it's a manual like yours, John.
Hope so.
Hope so too. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, these Porsche 911 GT3 Cups are based on the GT3 road car, which is so revered around the world. You pick up any motoring magazine, particularly one with a driver really driving focus, and very often, whatever generation of GT3 you look at will be winning group tests, etc. It's such a popular model, so popular that many more people want them than those that are built. So it becomes, it becomes tricky to get hold of one. But they are properly coveted cars. But the Carrera Cup cars have been built since 1990, when the first Porsche Carrera Cup was launched in Germany as a kind of pilot program at the time. That championship was won by Olaf Manthey of Manthey Racing, and the Porsche Mobile One Super Cup, the global championship, kicked off all the way back in 1993.
Great to have PenFed Credit Union as our presenting partner for these opening 2 rounds of the championship. We'll see them back at Road Atlanta and Coulter. PenFed extending their commitment to the championship from just the 2 rounds, the last 2 rounds last year. And also eBoost, supporting the eBoost Junior program, as they have been for a number of years. Now also the official drink of Porsche Carrera Cup North America.
And of course, all of the cars filled like they are from the factory. You can either run Mobile One X3 OW40 or Mobile One C40 GT OW40, and they run on Exxon Mobil Synergy Premium gasoline, the same that you could buy at a gas station, super unleaded effectively, like you would put in your road-going Porsche 911, or indeed any other Porsche road-going product. So it's great to have those partners on board. Jimmy Libra.
Mobile One have been with the Carrera Cup and Super Cup since the very beginning.
Since the beginning, correct. Yeah. And so unfortunately we've seen Jimmy Libra come into the pits, and the ACI Motorsport team have got the engine cover off the car. Not quite sure what the story is there. He could still remain on the lead lap. The field are just coming around Cunningham Corner at the moment, so they're way at the other side of the circuit, so they've got a couple of minutes to try and make some repairs, if that is possible, and try and remain on the lead lap, because if you get another full course caution, then that's important.
Top 3 in Pro-Am are running 11th, 12th and 13th. 2 ACI Motorsports driver, JP Martinez, and the number 4, Marco Celloni, in the 84, and Alan Metney, who started on the Race Brew pole position. Race Brew, by the way, is alcohol free, so you can enjoy a refreshing beer with absolutely no worries and still jump into your Porsche and enjoy an evening drive. Very well-known brewing company, Wisconsin.
They've just come through Jean de Bienne Bend there, who was the first driver to win outright at Sebring for Porsche.
Really?
In the 718 RS60 alongside Hans Hermann, 1960, for Porsche's first outright win.
RS60, now there was a car.
Beautiful car.
I've seen one of the Brewers collection's got one of those.
So they do. Yeah, I love it how it's a little bit more angled than a 550. It's got more curves to it.
And Olivier Jean de Bienne, of course, won Le Mans in 1962. His co-driver was Phil Hill, who was the world champion, FIA world champion for Formula One that year. In the last time a car that would have had a front engine won overall in the 24 hours of Le Mans. 26.5 minutes to go, and Riley has put his foot down with green flag and back racing for the second round here at Sebring of the Porsche Carrera Cup North America. And this time Riley has not got quite as much of a gap, but it's all right. Again, he's not going to have to defend into the first corner. In fact, it's actually Yardley who's under a little more pressure with the always fast-starting white and red car of Zach Vanier. Then Michael Di Casada, Aaron Johnson, Matthias Leist as well in there. But it's a nice clean start. Let's keep an eye open for the other classes. Beautiful evening light here. Still warm, air temperature 28 Celsius. That's 82 Fahrenheit. And on the track, 73 Fahrenheit is 23. This is lovely. And the Yokohama tyres will be loving this. There's the Love Bug 53 going through. The colours of Herbie. It's an interesting colour scheme to put. I suppose rear engines. Not the air-cooled motor anymore, of course, not since the 993, 911 days. Last of those in, what, 1997, 98? Still get a Carrera 4S in 1998 if you were clever. Which is interesting because the 996s had already started being turned out by then. There were opportunities. So Dickinson by half a second at the front of the field. Martinez, Chironi, Metney and Scott Blind, the leader in Masters as well right there. Nice move down the inside.
Grant Tulke, 2 in
Coming
1.
back.
2 in 1. Amazing job there from the driver of the number 16, fighting back from that earlier delay. So Grant Tulke, who was a really late addition to the entry list and has been out the race car for a little while, as here comes Paul Bocuse up the inside of Peter Atwater into Sunset Bend. It's a battle a little bit further down the order. This one is battle for 25th overall.
Michael Oriyama ahead of them in the Nola Sport car, the yellow and white car. Grant Tulke actually, having changed a tyre, is now back up to 22nd position and 12th in Pro. So that lengthy yellow flag, he didn't drop off the lead lap, Peter. So as you suspected, he got back around and the team got him back out again. And so Grant is on the hunt for some more points with ACI Motorsports. He's got Peter Atwater in Masters class, but Paul Bocuse is just up the road. And then there's all of the Pro-Am and Masters before he gets inside the top 10, which is really where his next point scoring opportunity or improving opportunity is. Jared Thomas, JTR in the red and white. That's an iconic livery as well.
Yeah, it has a Porsche connection
it
too,
does.
because the McLarens of the 1980s, most of them were powered by TAG engines, which were built and designed by Porsche.
There was also a 911 Evo ran in those colours.
Of course,
yeah.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Peter and I are trying to out Porsche each
we are
other here.
our anoraks are well and truly on here.
Right
zipped right up to the chin. Unfortunately for fans of Jimmy Libra, I know there'll be many fans in Dominican Republic cheering him on. Unfortunately, he hasn't come out the pit, so for whatever was wrong with the car, it's not been repairable, and I'm now several laps down, so it looks like it's going to be no points scored for Jimmy Libra, unfortunately, here at Sebring.
JP Martinez in the dark grey car on the back straight now. And that's Alan Mekney, I think, now back up behind him. So what's happened to Marco Chironi?
Chironi's there.
Chironi also with the GT silver car, my apologies. And then it's Alan Mekney. All the cars are supplied in that colour, GT silver. You can get that on your 911. Here comes that Lovebug coloured car round the outside. I do like the fact that it is not bright white. It's that sort of slightly Old English white for Rob Walker in the Masters, third position.
It's if you want GT silver, the paint code is M7Z.
Did you know that?
It's in my notes.
All right, okay.
Riley Dickinson leads by 1.7 seconds. He's really dropping the hammer like he did yesterday. 205.771. He leads very well at the moment, and Ryan Yardley at the moment doesn't have an answer, but still plenty of time left in this race. 21 minutes left on the clock.
We are keeping an eye not just on the clock, but also what's going on behind Riley Dickinson. 1.7 seconds, as Peter's just said, in this Penfed first round of the championship. First and second round at Sebring. What a great place to bring these cars. Somehow seems rather appropriate that a brand that is so steeped in GT and endurance racing should come to what is, let's be quite honest, you pointed this out the other day, Peter, when we were talking about the significance of the Mobile 112 hours of Sebring. This is where endurance racing really got a foothold in the US and popularised the longer forms of racing. Yeah, all right, I'll accept Daytona's first race was an endurance race, it was a 6-hour sports car race. But this place here...
That was 10 years later.
Yeah, that was 10 years later, absolutely. But this place had kicked it off a decade before.
Yeah, it's and Porsche, you know, which was founded as a car company in 1948, Sebring started racing in 1950. The Sebring and Porsche have gone
It's a
together
synergy.
ever since. Over 100 class wins at the Mobil 1 12 Hours of Sebring.
Yeah, for Porsche.
For Porsche in various
And the most
iterations.
successful in overall
Yes,
victories?
18 wins. Yeah.
Porsche are hanging around that 18-19 for quite a few big races. Of course, it was the 20th at the Rolex 24 Daytona. They're standing on 19 overall victories at Le Mans, 18 overall victories for the Mobil 1 12 Hours here. That tells you how successful and how consistently successful over that time period Porsche have been.
Well, those numbers wouldn't be what they are. Overall victories are more works driven, but in those victories wouldn't be what they are without the customer racing. And
Right.
Porsche Carrera Cup has been the beating heart of Porsche's customer racing for 35 years now.
Yeah.
There are over 5,000 of these cars that have ever been built.
Yeah.
Through from 1990, starting with the 964, through the 993, 996, 997, 991, and now 992.
Yeah, and we're waiting for the new 992.2. A little bit of a bodywork change on the front of the new road cars, the first new GTSs with the hybrid system, slightly larger engine, 3.6 engine, single turbo, but boosted in terms of torque assistance by what is called the self-charging hybrid. It's not a plug-in hybrid. 919 technology in that car. That's where it's come from. Very clever piece of stuff. No suggestion that that technology will come into the Cup cars. The venerable 4-litre normally aspirated flat 6, which of course is still available in the GT3 and GT3 Touring and up, GT3 RS, GT3 RS Weissach and various Manthey variants. That should be mentioned actually as well, that 1990 Olaf Manthey of Manthey fame competed and won the 1990 Carrera Cup, the opening race,
yeah.
the opening series.
Yes, he did, yeah. And of course went on to develop his business into now what is a part of Porsche AG. In the battle for Pro-Am, Marco Cirone sits in second, but he's got his mirrors full of last year's champion Alan Metni. So it's ACI Motorsports doing a super job here, because in Pro-Am you've got the leading car, JP Martinez, ACI Motorsports, and second place, Cirone, ACI Motorsports as well. So it's a 1-2 for ACI and Pro-Am at the moment, but Alan Metni and Kelly Moss, they've been such a force to be reckoned with, 2-time champions in this class.
And at the moment, it just looks like JP is pulling out as Marco Cirone for ACI is having to deal with the charging Alan Metni. He's just put the fastest lap of the class in behind those
Here comes
two
Metni.
leaders. Down the inside. Well, the thing is, if they trade paint, how will you know? You know,
it's a good way to get away with
there's
it.
no forensic evidence there, is it? GT silver on GT silver.
Oh, that was very, very close there. Metni put his nose up the inside at turn 7 and just pulled it up in time, and Cirone swept through as they come through Cunningham and Collier. Curves down towards Tower Corner through Green Park.
Right, breathe in for this one. ACI on the driver's left, Kelly Moss on the right, Cirone and Metni. They've raced each other so closely in the last few years for the Pro-Am title. It's bounced backwards and forwards between them. I think I'm right in saying the last 4 years it's been one or other of them that have won that championship.
Yeah, we had in 2021 we had Efren Castro from
yes.
the Hardpoint team. 2022 Alan Metni for Kelly Moss, Efren Castro for Kelly Moss in 2023, and then Alan Metni last year.
So sorry,
yeah,
3
but
years.
Cirone was right there last year. You're right. He was really, really strong. And ACI, they've got a big fleet of cars in this championship, and that collective number of cars helps in terms of data, etc. They've also got Gustav Burton here doing some coaching. He'll be doing the Super Cup this year. He's coaching the ACI Motorsports drivers.
He had a little dabble here.
He won this race that we're watching right now, the equivalent last year.
Yeah, and he's got a full-time drive in the Mobil 1 Super Cup, which supports most of the Grand Prix around the world. All of their races are on a Grand Prix weekend. Having said that, Porsche Carrera Cup North America I think is the only Carrera Cup series in the world that is at 3 Grand Prix. So they have 6 races at 3 different Grand Prix. It'll be Miami, then the Canadian Grand Prix, Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve, and finishing off with the final round of the Porsche Carrera Cup North America season at the Circuit of the Americas at Austin, or just south of Austin, Texas, just south of Austin Bergstrom Airport, of course. Well, that'd be good.
Of course, Riley Dickinson, as a Texan, he'll be desperate to he'll be desperate to finish that race weekend with the trophy in his hands, to be the champion for the second time. He'll be, imagine that, all your family there.
More than that, he'll want to stand on that Formula One podium.
Yes, in front of, friends, family, that big stakes there. But that's all the way in October. And I'm going to be a little bit biased here. This might be controversial. I'm more excited about seeing these cars and these drivers race at iconic IMSA tracks like
I understand
Sebring, Watkins Glen, Road Atlanta. These get the heart rate going.
These cars
so much.
Oh wow!
The F1's cool, and I totally get the appeal. I get that, but for me, I'll be really honest, seeing them kick off here at Sebring and race at places like Road Atlanta, which places that have such history but also such challenge. You can have history and have a boring racetrack. Sebring is the most opposite of a boring racetrack. The way that these cars just ride over the bumps, and the way the teams are going to try and set them up to handle that challenge, and the drivers that have got to have the bravery, particularly coming into, as the Pro-Ams are coming into right now, into turn 1, trusting that as they pogo up and down, that the car is actually going to stick and it's not going to spit them off the road.
So it's next up is May the 2nd to the 4th at the Miami Grand Prix. Then it's back-to-back Grand Prix venues if you go to the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve at Montreal. That Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve is a classic sports car venue. Remember the old World Sports Car Championship there? Remember the Jaguar sucking up the drain cover, the manhole cover?
Grand Am race there once, I think. Yeah.
Then Watkins Glen, June the 19th to 22nd, 31st of July to the 3rd of August, Road America. Indianapolis Motor Speedway, September 19th to 21st. Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta, October 8th and 11th. And the 17th and the 19th of October. That's close enough that that's a birthday trip for me, isn't it? It's only the week before my birthday. Circuit of the Americas. That is a very special calendar for anybody who's racing this car. There's also a Porsche Sprint Cup Challenge, pair of Sprint Cup Challenge races at Le Mans this year as part of the support category, which I'm looking carefully at.
What an opportunity to race on the Circuit de la Sarthe. There is a rare opportunity.
Quite often Porsche are there with Carrera Cup France or France and Benelux. Often pile up together and get 50 cars or thereabouts.
Yeah, everyone wants to do that. Tell you what, Marco Cirone and Alan Metney in this Pro-Am battle over, it's not even over the lead, it's over second place in class. You hang in the tail out coming around, Cunningham and Collier. Really, really impressive stuff from these drivers. But at the front of the field, Riley Dickinson putting together yet another clinical performance.
Another fastest lap, Peter.
Yet another fastest lap.
2:04.895 at the front of the field. He's not under any pressure. The only pressure that he's putting on him is himself in that classic Kelly Moss Racing for Children's livery with the handprints on the side.
Yeah, this was something that Jeff Stone, previous owner of Kelly Moss, was really, really passionate about, and that's been continued with Victoria Thomas and Andy Kilcoyne supporting this charity. The drivers go into the hospitals and meet the children, and it raises a lot of money. So if you want to support it, look it up on your favourite search engine, Racing for Children's, and Riley Dickinson honouring it in the best possible way here with a proper champion's drive right now. And Ryan Yardley in turn has a couple of seconds back to Zachary Vanier, and this is a fairly consistent pattern of things that we saw yesterday. Dickinson out front, Yardley in a fairly comfortable second, then it's a heck of a lot more close from third all the way through to basically the back part of the top 10.
I've been keeping an eye on ACI Motorsports Grant Tolkien. Remember, he had a puncture on those early laps, dropped all the way to the back. He's now up to 16th position, 12th in Pro. He's got Paul Bocuse of JDX Racing about 2 seconds ahead of him. Then there's 3 Pro-Ams and a Masters car, so the top 3 in Pro-Am and Scott Blind, who's leading Masters. And then they'll be on the back of Ashley Freiberg, who's up into the top 10, and just a second behind Jared Thomas, who's a couple of seconds back from Yves Baltas. So there's still plenty of racing to be done here with just under 10 minutes to go.
Scott Blind has been awesome this weekend
Yeah,
in Masters. I mean, to be 8.7 seconds ahead of your nearest competitor, quite remarkable. But he is doing, in 2025, he's doing triple duty. He's doing Sprint Challenge, he's doing here in the Carrera Cup North America, and also the Porsche Endurance Challenge. And that seat time in a GT3 Cup car makes all the difference. All the very best Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup drivers do dual programs. Larry Ten Borda did it for years. When he won Super Cups, he'd often win Carrera Cup Germany as well. You look at several of the drivers that have done that and have come through. Dylan Pereira, a very good example as well. Lauren Heinrich, and that's just the drivers of a couple of years ago. It's very. That's what you need. You need the seat time.
I think so.
You need the seat time.
I was talking to Owen Trinkler, who has raced in IMSA Championships for a very, very long time, and he just started racing again after that nasty incident that he had with the Aston Martin that burst into flames on him in a test. He started racing, he's back to full race fitness, and he's in the Endurance Cup racing against some of these younger drivers. And he said it does take a while to get used to these cars, these Cup cars. They are not a unique driving style, but I've spoken to many drivers down through the years who've not been able to get their head around them, and Owen says, I'm getting used to those cars now and feeling really comfortable with them, and those longer races are great because you get good seat time, and it's teaching some of these drivers, old and young, about managing the rubber. And the rubber's the same as this. It is the Yokohama, same as in Sprint Cup as well.
Well, 2 young talents, they're battling over the last spot on the podium here. Zachary Vanier from Ontario, Canada, who drives down with it to the USA with his father to compete. Long road trip there from Ontario. He's in 3rd in the Don's Pizza car. They drive down for every race. Yeah, wow. Yeah, it's amazing commitment. Then he's got Michael de Quesada right in behind him, though, wanting that spot. As Tyler Maxson battling away with Matthews Least for 6th position, and he gets the job done. Tyler's pulled this move a few times going into Sunset. That's his favourite spot.
Just to the line again, we're talking about the endurance capabilities of these Carrera Cup cars. Just to underline that, last year we had the first ever 12-hour race just for 992 Cup cars presented by Porsche at Spa-Francorchamps, and we were there and did the broadcast for it. It was absolutely superb, and we had the coolest safety car in the world because it was a 918. That was the safety car. Everybody wanted, no shortages of volunteers to drive the safety car.
I'd love to try one of those. It's a pretty close second behind a Carrera GT. The Carrera GT is the one I would really like.
Well, I know somebody who you could borrow a Carrera GT from.
Does he have a very nice, long, wavy haircut and was quite good in an IndyCar?
Yes.
Yes.
Very good. Well, you might have been able to do that, Peter, if you'd been available for that event this year at Spa.
Might have been. That's cruel. And we're going to be we're off to Mugello next week for the kick-off of the European season of 24H series, and I guarantee there will be a packed grid of 992s.
That'll be the biggest class.
It always is.
Yeah,
always is, and that says everything you want about the quality of these cars.
All run by customers. Some very small teams in there. You're talking about the guys driving down. These cars are sophisticated road cars and sophisticated race cars, but not to the point where you need an army of engineers and a knowledge of computer languages to start them up and keep them running. The basic drivetrain and architecture of this car is that of a Porsche 911 GT3 road car. Yeah, all right, it's got a race gearbox, it's got more adjustment on the suspension, but the engine is exactly the same. It's even the same state of tune as the road car.
Yep, that's right. I mean, a fantastic advert for the Yokohama tyre. Riley Dickinson is continuing to just set faster and faster and faster lap time. 2:04.884. But looking at the sector times, exactly the same, well, very close conditions to this race last year. He's a tenth quicker than Luke Hartog went through turn 1 alone. He is 2/10 quicker through the longer sector 2, and he's a tenth quicker through sector 3. So there's improvements all the way through the track.
Riley Dickinson with the fastest lap of anybody. Second placed driver, a couple of tenths slower, and Yves Baltas another 3/10 behind that. Just watching James Sofranas fourth in the GMG racing car, the number 14, another great livery on that car. Scott Blind is absolutely on fire at the minute. Not literally, obviously.
Richard Edge is running him down a bit, but, he's got pace in hand. He had an 8-second gap. It's now 5, so he's backing off. But there has been a swap around for second place in Pro-Am. Metney's got past Chironi.
Yeah.
He was putting him under a lot of pressure.
Now, what's the gap then? It's 5 seconds though. Those two fighting have allowed JP Martinez for ACI Motorsport to not exactly run away and hide, but he's certainly nipped off round the corner.
And now Metney's got a car in another class between himself and Chironi, which is really helpful. That's Paul Bicuse in the Pro class, 71, the young driver. Yeah,
he's coming through the field in the JDX car, and he's bringing Grant Tolke with him as well. So I expect to see the ACI Motorsports number 16 car, the GT silver and green stripe on that car, hoving up into view. Yep, there he is, coming up behind Marco Chironi in the number 84, another GT silver car.
Would that be a Viper green stripe?
Viper or Python?
Or Viper or Python green. For me, it's oak green metallic. That's the colour I would have.
Somebody who's just ordered a GT3 with that specification, the gold wheels.
Oh, not gold wheels, no, silver wheels.
No, it looks
clear,
good with the gold.
Clear glass.
But the clear glass, yes, but he's left the red calipers on, which I've told him I don't agree with the gold wheels.
I'm sure he'll survive.
Through to complete another lap. 2 laps to go. So 7.5 miles for Riley Dickinson, a little less than that. That's that. Again, that is a well-known livery. I remember that going way back to the American Le Mans Series days with the handprints on the Racing for Children's livery from Kelly Moss, what used to be Kelly Moss Road and Race. Now just Kelly Moss, as you say, Jeff Stone, who ran that. I handed him a lot of trophies back in those days in a variety of different categories. And I have to say, you always wonder, don't you, when the man who had the passion, or the person who had the passion to put something together, hands it off to someone else. But Victoria Thomas and Andy Kilcoyle have taken on the mantle of Kelly Moss in exactly the right way, Peter. And they're supporting young drivers. They're helping with the diversity program for IMSA. They are looking to bring people into the sport and keep people into the sport, in the sport. They've done a lot of work, and they are genuinely lovely people that you'd want to spend time with. And all of the teams here, you look at all the teams, whether it's Jeremy Dale for JDX, Harrison Bricks, the guys from Top Racing, Allegra, Nola Sport, JTR, Jared Thomas, makes his living now running the team as well as driving. They are passionate and emotional people, and it's a lovely paddock to be in. Final lap for the leader.
JP Martinez, I think this one of the real surprise packages of this weekend. Has very little experience in this car, and he's pretty much dominated in Pro-Am. He is going to be a force to be reckoned with over the course of the season in Pro-Am for drivers from 36 to 49 years of age. And Scott Blind, likewise, domination in Masters for him as he goes on to the final lap.
Michael de Quesada is pressuring Zach Vanier for the last step on the podium. He's just 0.3 of a second away. This is the number 9 car in third. And actually that's just, no, 0.3, I was right. And the number 11 car chasing him down. Nobody's going to catch Riley Dickinson. What a weekend.
Well, he set a record when he first won the championship back in 2023. 11 out of 16 wins. Well, this will be 2 in the bank.
Yeah.
A good way to get started. He had 10 fastest laps and 10 pole positions. 10 race brew pole positions.
Didn't take the fastest lap yesterday, did he?
No, I don't think he did actually, now you mentioned
Didn't
it.
someone pit for tyres and come
Yes,
back out?
they did. Michael McCann
Michael
did.
McCann, yes, well remembered. I've seen a lot of racing today. Well, Riley Dickinson, there must have been questions in his mind about whether he should come back to do it again. He's just patting the dashboard of the car as much as to say, well done, old chum. Must have been doubts in his mind. You come back having won the championship, had a year away, change of tyre supplier. Am I going to be able to continue where I left off? Answer, absolutely. Riley Dickinson, 2 race brew pole positions, 1 fastest lap, 2 race wins. Put those points in the bank. Ryan Yardley comes through in second, Zach Vanier in third, but only just, with Michael De Quesada right on his bumper. Here comes the Pro-Am winner, JP Martinez, just outside the overall top 10. That's a great run for the ACI Motorsports driver. It will be Alan Metney who comes through in second ahead of Marco Ciarroni has come through. Grant Tolkien just got by him there in the last lap. And in Masters, Scott Blind was closed down a little bit for Ruckus Racing. There goes Richard Edge, 4.5 seconds back. Was 8 seconds at one time, and I think it'll be Peter Atwater if we wait just a moment for him to come through. Yep, there he goes in the JTR machine. Unofficial results, of course, at this stage, pending post-race inspection. Yeah, there's a very happy Riley Dickinson. Still only 22, remember. And what a future this young man has ahead of him.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah,
he was invited to the Porsche Junior Shootout in the kind of winter of 23-24. He's still well within the age bracket for that. And think about the success that that Porsche had with Patrick Long.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's been part of this programme and in fact mentors the young driver from the US series that goes across. The top 3 we've mentioned, Michael De Quesada in 4th, just. Aaron Johnson claims a 5th position. Tyler Maxson with a couple of neat overtakes to 6th. Matthias Leith in 7th. Then Yves Baltas, Jared Thomas and Ashley Freiberg improving on a 13th from yesterday. Gets her first top 10 in this championship. JP Martinez in 11th takes the Pro-Am ahead of Alan Metney and Marco Ciarroni, with Grant Tolkien coming back up after his problematical first lap when he picked up a flat tyre. He's back up into 14th overall, but better than that in the Pro class. He would have been 12th. And Scott Blind takes the Masters in 17th. A little bit further down, Michael Oriama at least got to the end today in Masters. Not a great run for Jimmy Libra, and Michael McCann has had no luck this weekend at all. Neither Sebring Cook, they were all involved in that early incident, at least Michael and Sebring was. And Jean Jodouin, perhaps the unluckiest driver today, Peter, as he was an innocent bystander. Matty Stewart, the Kiwi, didn't get started in either of the races after an incident in the early sessions. What a way to wind up Fast Friday. Absolutely perfect run. One fast lap that he didn't get when Michael McCann pitted to put some tyres on to improve his second starting grid position. But other than that, I think that Riley Dickinson and Kelly Moss Racing will go home from Sebring very happy team.
That they will. Yeah, perfect weekend. Back together for this. Well, they'd never been apart really. They've been racing in other championships last year, and a big calendar ahead of Riley Dickinson this year with Kelly Moss, not just in this championship with the Porsche Carrera Cup North America, but in various other series. Great to see.
Peter Mackay alongside me, John Heindorf. Our thanks to Alyssa and all of the production team at Concord, our fabulous camera operators here at Sebring International Raceway, and the technical team on site here, including Rob, our booth director, AD rather, and everyone who has made this happen, and not least the 32 drivers and teams of Porsche Carrera Cup North America. Our first 2 rounds are in the book. Next time, say hello to F1. It'll be welcome to Miami. We'll see you at the racetrack. Bye for now.